Laura?
Good morning. How was your breakfast?
Fine. Is Samantha in?
She's at university. Would you like me to call her?
Actually, I prefer not to be disturbed. If she comes in, tell her that, will you?
Of course.
What is it, Laura? Keep going, darling. Give me a few more letters. I have everything set according to Ramuskin's instructions. I arranged to see Dr. Ramuskin today. I'm hoping he'll have some insight into the events with Laura.
Dr. Stiles, it's very good to meet you.
Sorry to disturb you.
It's an honor. I remember when your Scientific American article came out, my colleagues and I were thrilled to see such open-mindedness in a leading neurobiologist.
As you can see, things have deteriorated since then.
Please, come inside. On the phone, it sounded important.
One thing you learn as a neurobiologist is that reality is subjective, like the story of the blind man and the elephant. One of my patients had a brain tumor and became convinced his wife was an alien in disguise. Everyone else saw an everyday housewife. He saw something horrible. What clues do we pick up from our environment every day that tell us how to perceive the world? One man sees a pile of logs, another a sleeping giant.
Perception is a slippery thing.
My wife, Laura, died in 2002, but the reality I chose was to keep her alive, in my mind and in my heart. I started experiments in an isolation tank to bring back as many memories of her as possible, even the small and subtle ones. And I didn't give a toss what anyone thought.
And now?
The thing I didn't foresee was that Laura might actually come back.
I've suddenly got quite a chill. Perhaps you'll start from the beginning while I light the fire.
No fire, please.
Oh, please forgive me. I'll call for some tea. I'm quite anxious to hear what you have to say, Dr. Stiles. If you'd start at the beginning, please. It sounds fascinating. I've never performed any experiments with an isolation tank myself, but they may well concentrate certain energies. I'd be happy to help in any way I can. And I'd be very interested in your theories on the phenomenon, as a neurobiologist, if you'd be so kind.
In cases that you're familiar with of hauntings, is it typical for the deceased to obsess over their deaths?
I'd say so, particularly if it was violent.
Laura keeps communicating about the accident, but I'm not sure if there's really something there or if she's just fixated on that moment out of shock.
I know you'll leave no stone unturned finding out. If there's nothing to it, it will be clear soon enough.
Yes, of course. Have you heard of any similar hauntings, for lack of a better word?
Some of the elements, such as the way Laura communicated with you in the tank and the RNG message, these sound like classic communiques from the spirit world. But other things you've described, the moved nightgown, the form under the sheets, and most particularly the events at the university, those sound like PK activity, telekinesis, objects being moved with the power of the mind. Are you positive all these manifestations are Laura?
Of course. One paranormal source is remarkable enough, much less two different ones. Don't you agree?
You have a point.
Studies done with dying and comatose patients have provided some interesting clues about consciousness. There are authenticated cases of the mind projecting itself from the body, witnessing things that occurred far away. If the mind can project itself from the body, then it's possible for consciousness to survive physical death.
Do you have a scientific explanation for how that might work?
Quantum theory suggests that three-dimensional space and time are essentially created by the brain in order to organize the masses of data that make up reality. The brain operates like a translation device, in the same way that a television set organizes bits of electronic data into an image. If the human brain creates space and time, then theoretically the brain could project the mind into the past or future, making itself essentially immortal.
That's astonishing. I hope you intend to publish on this theory.
I'm still conducting my research. Is there any connection between psi activity and heat or fire?
Yes. Telekinesis in particular is very elemental. There's a classic poltergeist case that involved a young girl in the American heartland. The manifestations in her household all revolved around water. Water running down the walls of the house, seeping out of the wallpaper and welling up from the floors. Another classic telekinesis phenomenon is raining stones. And I recall reading about a shaman in East Africa who could make his victims burst into flames. It would all suggest that telekinetic powers are drawn from the earth. But I'm not aware of any studies done on the subject.
Can you tell me more about the East African shaman?
I'll tell you what I remember. It's a well-documented case from the early 1900s, researched by a member of the Society for Psychical Research. He was traveling in Africa when he ran across this shaman. He put the man through a variety of tests and reached the conclusion that the shaman was projecting electricity at strong enough levels to literally start fires, predictably and reliably. This notion seemed confirmed by the odd fact that when the shaman was wet, his fire-starting ability didn't work. Of course, in those days, experiments in electricity were all the rage, so you have to take that into consideration. Still, he made a compelling case.
I'm wondering if the events on campus aren't some kind of psychic residue from Laura's attempts to come through. If she's generating energy, it might get channeled in unpredictable ways.
I can't say, of course, but the energy involved in the campus events is so unusually powerful. It's unlike any spiritual communication I've ever heard of.
But you said yourself you've never dealt with a case that involved an isolation tank.
True. I'm quite curious to see where this is all heading, Dr. Stiles.
Thank you for your expertise, Doctor. There's one more thing. I was hoping you could give me some advice on how I might help Laura. Help her come through.
Dr. Stiles, I'm not sure what you mean by coming through. Earthbound spirits are trapped here because of some unresolved trauma or an inability to accept their own deaths. The goal in such a scenario is to free the spirit so that he or she can move on.
Move on? To what? Oblivion? I mean, what if Laura could be brought back?
But what body would she inhabit? How could she interact with our world? All religions believe that there is some kind of afterlife and...
Yes, thank you, Doctor. I'm afraid it's getting quite late. I must go.
I do hope you'll keep in touch. I'd like to know how this develops.
Of course. Good day.
Goodbye.
Timmins Park. Laura loved the place. Might be a good spot to try to recreate a memory today. Surely it won't be crowded on a dreary weekday.
Look, Mummy, it's a monster.
Shh! Sweetheart!
I remember the park, but it's quite vague. Where should I go? The main track is down there. This is the tree. I carved our initials here on a summer day. Laura loved that fountain. We sat on that bench for hours. Laura was the only person who could ever convince me to relax.
There's a gardenia in bloom. Laura would place one in her hair if we came here.
That flower might jog some memories.
Don't you pick that flower, sir.
What? And how would that change your day?
Rules is rules, sir. Flowers are here for everyone's enjoyment, not picking.
Listen, I need that flower. I'll pay for it if necessary.
You'll pay, all right. The fine's £2,000.
Hello? Hey, don't take that.
Damn it. She's run off with the gardenia I need. Ice cream. Laura's favourite was orange-flavoured.
I always thought we'd bring our own children here someday. Things change. I want one of those orange-flavoured lollies you used to sell. There was vanilla inside.
What, you mean like an orange mivvy?
That's it.
There you go. Don't you like want your change?
Keep it.
apples.
That's a lovely flower. Did you get it here in the park? Can I see it? What's your name? Mine's David. You can tell me. Is it Elizabeth? Anne? My mask is scary looking, isn't it?
What's it for?
It's something like a bandage. What game are you playing? It looks like fun. Cat got your tongue?
You've got an owie.
That's right. A big owie.
How did you get it?
That's rather a long story, I'm afraid. What's your name?
Where did you get that mask?
I had someone make it.
Why?
Because I couldn't find one I liked. Will you show me your flower?
How did you get your owie?
It was a fire.
Did it hurt?
Yes. Do you like ice cream? Maybe I could trade you an ice cream for your flower.
My mum wouldn't like it. I scraped my knee once and got an owie. How do you wash your face?
What about if I give you a new shiny pound for your flower?
Do you know any tricks? How do you wash your face?
I can take the mask off when I need to.
Will you take it off now?
No, sweetheart. I can't do that. Laura, I can't do it. I can't get that flower. Ow! You mentioned tricks. A beautiful princess I once knew taught me how to do this. Watch.
Higher, do it higher.
Shall I? All right. Watch this.
Rebecca!
I was just showing her a trick. Well, that was pleasant.
Mummy! 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 Oh, let me go back and see the man. I like him.
I don't think that sitting on this bench could trigger any particular memory. I should try something else. The water is calm today. Laura loved to take a boat out on a lake, but I'm not ready for that yet. £3 an hour. Lucrative business. I recognize him. He's been in this park for years. I have a request. There's an old Italian song you used to play. Santa Lucia.
Grazie, grazie. I know you. You used to come here with your wife, Bellissima.
Yes.
She's not with you today.
Not yet. Will you play it?
It would be my pleasure.
I'd like to rent a punt, please.
£3, you can take number 12.
We're being utter slugs today. The sun feels amazing.
Some of us are more slug-like than others.
You're such a curmudgeon.
I was referring to myself, of course.
What's your schedule this week, darling?
The usual. Nothing earth-shattering.
Good. I was thinking we might go to the cottage this weekend.
We could leave Friday.
We're being utter slugs today. The sun feels amazing.
Some of us are more slug-like than others. I'd love to go to the cottage this weekend. I might be able to arrange it so we can leave Thursday night.
21st October.
I'd love to go to the cottage this weekend. I might be able to arrange it so we can leave Thursday night.
The sun feels amazing. A student, David. 21st October.
We love to sit on that bench and listen to the river flow. Now Laura's gone. And the river, too. The river has dried up with time.